Hey, John Gibson here, your PCOS body transformation coach. Now, I'm going to dive into something today that a lot of people have asked me questions about, or I hear on a regular basis, and that's about your schedule. And a lot of people will say, I'm way too busy. I don't have time to exercise. I don't have time to eat right, to cook my meals, prepare my meals, and things like that. So today I want to give you some tips on that and how you can get those things in that you need to be doing, even with the busy schedule. Okay, but before I get into that, if you want extra help, if you want more in-depth help on how to lose weight with your PCOS, go to fatextractionmethod.com. Again, fatextractionmethod.com, where you'll learn more about the method I use in my coaching program and specifically what you can do to be able to see the results you want to see. Okay, so let me talk about your schedule really quick, because again, I have a lot of people I work with, like nurses, for example. These nurses, they're working 12-hour shifts, they're working 3 to 4 days a week. Sometimes they're being called in. I've got one specific client who actually works in an area. She was working in a COVID hospital, and she, the whole hospital was converted to COVID, and she was being called in over and over and over again, to the point where she finally just said, you know what? I need a week off, because she was working every single day, 12-hour shifts, just crazy schedule that she was following. But there were things we were able to do to be able to help her see the results she wants to see. Now, what can you do? All right, if you've got a busy schedule, what can you do? Well, number one, we need to make sure we're getting exercise in, right? Okay, you've got to get your exercise in. But does it have to be a 30-minute or an hour-long workout? Does it have to be something where you need to go get changed, do your workout, and then afterwards you've got to take a shower, get dressed again, reapply your makeup, or whatever you do to get ready for the day, right? It doesn't need to be that way, okay? 30 minutes a day is ideal. But what we could do is, how about we split those up throughout the day? Could you do 2 to 5 minute exercises every once in a while, right? Could you do that 3 or 4 times throughout the day if you needed to? Okay, those are little things we can do. It doesn't have to be this drastic, I'm going to the gym, I'm lifting weights, all these things. It can be something. There's always a good, better, and best idea. But unfortunately, what we tend to do is, if I'm not doing best, then I'm not going to do anything. And that's, basically shooting ourselves in the foot. We're just not doing what we need to do, or doing anything that's going to get us even closer to our goal. So you need to make sure that you're at least doing something in terms of exercise every single day. Whether that's, again, 2 to 5 minutes every couple of hours. One thing I like to do is every hour in my day, my job is sitting at a desk most of the time, okay? And every hour in my day, I take a 5 to 10 minute break so that I can get my brain going again, so I'm focused, so I'm not just sitting there getting lethargic during the day, and I can get the stuff done that I need to get done. And during that 5 to 10 minute break, I will do 1, 2, potentially 5 minutes of exercise to, again, get myself moving and going. Then I'll get back to work. Okay, that may not be the case for everybody. I've got another person I work with who is a mail carrier. So what does she do? She is driving around, delivering mail all day long. I don't remember what her hours are, but it's a long day. And what's she doing? Well, she delivers the mail, she goes back, she does a few squats before she gets in her truck. Then she goes to the next place, and she's in a very rural area out in the middle of nowhere, right? Driving long distances from one house to the next. She gets to the next place, she delivers the mail, she does several squats, she gets back in the car or in her vehicle and goes on. Okay, now I've got, again, nurses who are on their feet most of the day, walking, moving, doing things. Well, guess what? There are some restroom breaks. I know some of you have told me, yeah, you don't have time for a restroom break. There's restroom breaks. It has to happen, right? So when you take your restroom break, maybe do a little bit of exercise. Step into a quiet room, quickly do some exercise, right? Now, obviously, this can be an individual situation, may not work for everybody, but we need to do something. It could even be something you wake up in the morning, do 2 to 5 minutes of intense exercise in the morning. When you get home from work, do 2 to 5 minutes of intense exercise just before you go to bed. A couple minutes of exercise, maybe less intense before bed, so you can actually go to sleep. Okay, that's an idea. Now, the next thing that I really recommend doing is have some quick food options. Okay, come up with some food ideas. Things like smoothies, right? Smoothies are a great way for you to get all of the nutrients you need in there in a really quick, easy way. Literally, one thing I've done in the past is actually prep Ziploc bags with the ingredients I need, with the fruits, the vegetables I want in there, the protein powders. One thing I always recommend doing is add protein to your smoothies. I think that's something that's always missing from a lot of smoothie recipes out there. Add your protein to it, okay? Protein powders, your pasteurized raw eggs, okay? They've been pasteurized, no salmonella, we're okay. Greek yogurt, things like that will add the protein you need to that smoothie, okay? Put it in a Ziploc bag, and when you're ready to go, you just literally throw it in, dump it into your blender, blend it up, drink it on your go, you're good, okay? Other ideas, get some healthy, fast food options. Now, that may sound really weird, and I know a lot of people criticize me because I'm not one of those people that preaches that you have to eat everything organic and you have to, make everything fresh and it has to be completely whole and you have to avoid all these different foods, okay? Because I realize that a lot of the people I work with they're not at that level. We've got to move to that point, and I don't even think we need to move to that point, to be honest with you. I think some of that stuff is actually ridiculous. But there are fast food options that can be healthier, okay? Yeah, the best option is for you to cook your own home meals and to get it out of your own garden, things like that. But that's not feasible for everybody, right? Not feasible for most. So if fast food is your only option, come up with healthier options. Things like Subway, you can go there, turn every one of their subs into a salad. Okay, that's one thing you could do. I always recommend getting the dressing on the side because I feel like they put way too much on those things. But there's other restaurants. You can take most of your burgers and you can turn them into a lettuce wrap. Okay, you don't need all the extra buns and things like that. You don't have to get fries with all your meals. You don't have to get a drink with all your meals other than water. Okay, so go find healthier options that can help you reach your goal. Okay, now the last one in terms of food is learn how to meal prep. Now, there's a lot of a lot of people do meal prepping. Some people are like, oh, I just don't know how, I don't want to, it's just too much work. Well, if it's too much work, that typically means that you're not used to it and you don't know how to do it properly, okay? Because there's ways that you can meal prep that literally take, hardly any time at all, maybe an hour, 2 hours, once a week or twice a week, where you can prepare most of your meals, or at least get certain aspects of your meals ready to go. So it takes a lot less time to cook your meals and stuff like that when it's time to cook them. Okay, now later on maybe I'll do a video on meal prep and how to do that and all those things, but again, there's so many different ways of doing it that you can, again, there's lots of different ideas out there. I've seen people do things like where they get a cookie sheet and they'll put a lot of chicken breasts on there, or different types of meats they want, and they'll put it in the oven, cook that, put little sauces or spices or things like that on your meats, and then put it in the oven. Go for it like that. Okay, roast some of your vegetables, put them in the refrigerator, and you can have them for later. Again, there's a lot of different things, but those are skills that you need to learn. Okay, one thing I always tell people is this: weight loss is not about what you do, it's about the skills you develop. Okay, at least long-term weight loss. Yeah, short-term weight loss, don't develop any skills, just go for it, starve yourself. Yeah, exercise a lot, you'll lose weight really quick. Cool, awesome, everyone gets excited, but then you gain it all back, right? Okay, you've got to develop the skills to be able to keep that weight off. Okay, meal prep is a skill that needs to be developed. Okay, now the last thing, and this is going to be the hardest one for most people, is this: analyze your schedule. Find those things where, what do I need to get rid of? Okay, what are some of the things that are just worthless in my schedule that are making me feel busy but are not useful? Okay, now I don't know if you ever heard of Stephen Covey, but years ago, Stephen Covey, I remember listening to him talk about this idea, and I don't know if he came up with the idea or something like that, but this whole rock analogy, where you have these different sized rocks, right? And you got a jar you're trying to fill up with rocks. And so you've got big rocks, you've got smaller rocks, you've got little pebbles, and you have sand. Now, if we go and we fill the jar up with sand, and then start trying to put the rocks in afterwards, we're never going to get everything in there, okay? If we start filling up the pebbles first, and then we put the bigger rocks in there, and then we pour the sand in, we'll maybe get all the sand, and we'll get all the pebbles, but we're not gonna get the bigger things, okay? But the analogy is kind of this: those bigger rocks, those are the most important things in our day. Those are the work issues. Those are your health. Those are your relationships, okay? We need to make sure we're taking care of those things first. And so we need to put those in first. Then we can go with the next important things, the less important things. Then we can start filling those in. You put those pebbles in, they start falling around those bigger rocks. Then we get to the sand, and the sand is like the worthless things. That's your social media, that's your watching, your entertainment, you're watching TV, you're reading your books and things like that. Those are not as important. And so we can start pouring those in, and they can fill up the rest of the space, okay? So one thing I like to have people do a lot is actually go through a 15-minute journal, where what they do is every 15 minutes you write down just, okay, here is what I did the last 15 minutes. Not a detailed list, but a short little, okay, I was on social media, I got ready for the day, I ate food, I cleaned this, I was doing this at work, whatever it might be. Just a short little 1 to 2, maybe 3 word type of a thing that says what you did during that time period, okay? Now, here's the other thing. Look at your schedule and ask yourself, am I just filling my schedule up with stuff, with things that are not important? Now, here's kind of a sad truth that I see, at least with parents, is I see they're filling their schedule up with a lot of things for activities for their kids that their kids really don't need to do. And the examples of this is I've had several clients where they come to me and they go, okay, so my schedule is completely full. It's running my kids around. I go, okay, what are you doing? Well, I've got Sarah and I'm running her to dance, and then straight from dance we go to piano, and then straight from piano she's going to her voice lessons, and straight from her voice lessons she's going to swim lessons, straight from swim lessons, and you get the point, right? Well, does she need all of that, right? Okay, are we trying to fill our kids' schedules up too much with things that really don't matter? Yeah, I want my kids to develop skills, but do I need them to develop skills in everything? And because we're developing everything, I'm not allowing them to master one thing, okay? So look at your schedule. Are you filling it up with stuff that doesn't necessarily need to be there? And the last thing is this: don't make excuses, okay? Find solutions to your schedule. Find solutions to getting the workouts in, okay? Because again, I get a lot of people who will come to me and say, I have X number of children. And it's always kind of funny because I'll have someone I'll talk to someone like, let's say at 9 o'clock in the morning, I talk to one person and they'll say, oh man, I've got my 3 kids and life's just busy and crazy and but I'm getting it done. I'm doing it. I'm getting everything I need to. And then a couple hours later, I'll talk to someone who goes, oh, I've got my 1 child and it's just, oh my goodness, just life is so busy and crazy and I just can't do anything. And I go, wait, hold on. A couple hours earlier, someone with 3 kids was able to get things done, but you with 1 child, you're struggling. You're struggling to get those things done, okay? Realize that any situation you are in, someone's in a worse situation and they're getting things done. And it's not because, their life is easy or anything like that. It's because they've developed the skills. So don't look at yourself and beat yourself up, or don't listen to what I'm saying and start saying, oh, John, you have no idea. Look at yourself and say, okay, what solutions can I come up with? How can I make my schedule better? How can I develop the skills of time management or whatever it might be so that I can get the things I need to done? Or along with that, how can I raise the necessity of certain things? Right? I will see people who will schedule a doctor's appointment that doesn't really matter, that's, could wait for a few days or something like that. It might be, I've got a little mole I need to get checked out, but they'll schedule that instead of getting their workout in, they'll make sure they go and get that mole checked. When, a day or two later, or a couple hours later, may have been totally fine to get that thing checked, right? Okay. And one person I want to use as an example, I have one client who has 10 children. I'm going to get that right. 9 children or 10. I can't remember now. But she's now pregnant with her, I think it's her last child, but I think she'll have 10 or 11 or maybe even 12 kids in the house now, okay? She's busy. She's got all of these kids pulling her different directions, right? Okay, now all of them are not hers, it's a blended family, so I think she's got 5 or 6 that are hers directly, and then there's several from her husband. But it's a busy schedule, right? But she gets her workout in every single day. And she will literally, I'll hear her when we get on calls and stuff like that. She'll say, hey, this is my time, okay? You don't talk to me during my time. She set that boundary up. The kids understand that. She has to remind them, okay? But she says, hey, my time, boundaries, okay? You go take care of things, whatever you need to. This is not an emergency. I need to take care of myself right now. And then now I can come and take care of you in just a minute. But she's not coming up with excuses, she's coming up with solutions, okay? So do that for yourself. Come up with solutions instead of excuses. So let's go through those all again. Get your short little workouts in if you can, okay? Now, if you're making excuses for it, find solutions. How can I get those in? Don't come to me with a lot of, John, but here's my problem, here's my problem, here's my problem, here's my problem. Come with, okay, here's my problem, but here's a possible solution. What do you think, right? How can I do this? Come up with quick food options and then analyze your schedule. What can you take out of your schedule that really is not that important?